we're going to be looking at the stories that humanity is creating while navigating these multiple crises of COVID and climate and racial injustice. And how do we collectively harness our grief and our hope to create this culture shift to more inclusive societies, resilient communities, and flourishing ecosystems? And with me today are two beautiful thinkers who are going to help guide us in a conversation about harnessing our feelings and creating great storytelling. So I'd like to welcome on stage with me now Renee Lertzman and Jonah Sachs. Jonah, from your perspective, when you look at where we are and what you're trying to accomplish, are there some things that you take away from what we're all collectively experiencing that either give you hope or feel like a barrier to what you're trying to accomplish?
Well, it absolutely is about starting from like just the basic premise that it's no longer about trying to get consumers to care. Do consumers care? Do people care? You know, we're way, way, way beyond that. We were like whatever a decade ago. But anyway, we no longer need to waste time and energy on that right now. And where the guiding principles are coming from is that how do we start? How do we design our strategies, our theories of change from the basic premise of people are activated, people care deeply, people feel overwhelmed, people feel anxious, they feel inspired by some things and fearful about other things. And how do we actually work with that? How do we partner with that? How do we engage with that in a way where, to Jonah's point, it's about enlisting people to be partners and co-creators and collaborators with us. So it's a very different mindset, I think, for organizations and brands.
Right. Because it's usually one to many. It's very directional. It's very instructive. Brands are used to telling consumers and citizens what to do. And I think what I'm hearing from both of you is the only way we're going to solve it is if we figure it out together. If this becomes a relationship, a dialogue, a participatory involvement, whether that's on our social media platforms or in our democracy. That's what I'm hearing from both of you, that brands in particular who are trying to create culture change need to accept this is a participatory, collaborative experiment.
Well, it's about demonstrating attunement. So attunement is the basic, it's the building block of trust, of everything that Jonah's talking about, which is that we have to feel attuned. I need to feel like you get me, you at least accept me, even if you don't agree with me, and vice versa. And that's where I think there's such an opportunity for brands to, I've just found myself saying recently, it's not enough to know it. Like, it's not enough to know the insights. We have to show it. It's not enough to know where people are, what their anxieties are and their concerns and all of that. We have to actually show it in a whole variety of ways, really demonstrating in the language we use and the, all the aspects of the work we do to demonstrate we see you, we respect you, we get you, and you're needed, and we're in this together. And yet we're there's that dance. I'm curious what Jonah's thoughts are around the participatory and the leadership. So it's not like we're
exactly
all in this...
where I was going. Yeah, I have that same question, Jonah. Can you speak to that?
Well, I mean, I've long been calling for and tracking the movement of brands taking a social stand on controversial issues. And I think what's really different this year than in any past years is the way that brands have responded to Black Lives Matter. Again, it's probably come up for most of us in one way or the other. But for the first time, brands weren't saying, well, this is an important issue, but how do we get our own spin on it? How do we make this ours? How do we lead on this? Brands were just like, you know what, this other brand, this other movement exists, and we're going to show our support, even if our competitors are doing that too. We're going to listen. We're going to try to figure out where we fit. We're not going to try to take ownership of it. And so I think that's an interesting, exciting template in many ways.
I have really loved chatting with you. And when we're all together, since we're all in the Bay Area, we're going to have a coffee one day when we can all get back together. Thanks for being here today, both of you. I really appreciate it.